I dream of it, amongst the wild threads of history and the myriad of paths. My path saw the Imperium rise from the ashes left in the wake of the Great Rebellion.
Okay, we're back. Almost guarantee I'm gonna have full water storages. Hold it. All right, we got plenty of water to work with. I think the only logical choice is to do this first, and then that. And we're out of titanium, so let's take the buggy and go get some titanium. Oh, now he's got his stuff on display. Okay. A Harkonnen neighbor. Right. I ain't picky. Yes. Top up the Jeep as much as possible. The titanium as I can possibly find, so work that as much as possible. Definitely need to bolster our water storage and production. Still got 3 more days for the deep desert, and then we'll have to evacuate. So hopefully by that point I can get everything I can together to make a whole lot of Stravidium, not a whole lot of titanium. Not chancing that. I've gotten jammed in a rock before. Some. Before I go too much further, let's see. Shit. It's a washout! Okay, this one wasn't... Or this one? Dara's Lullaby. I mean, we got a double Cecil Rad here. I guess you can only really get one. Color engine mark perforate. Or as afternoon, Matthew. Foods. Guys are still not active. I am not seeing anything. I mean, the Bloodshot Buggy Mark 6 is definitely a good one. Walker's Sandcrawler is also a good one. Already got that for the week. Need to grind out the Valari Still Suit. I don't know what Idaho's charge is. I'm not seeing anything. I definitely want to get that, though. A bit later. Wait. This way! Well, if you was asleep, you shouldn't have interrupted it for my sake. Get some sleep. About 1,000 should do it. It's a slow process with this buggy cutter. But it's also probably due to my specializations. See if I can... yeah, I should be able to reach it from here. Alright, that's enough. Let's head back to base. On this all off. Make more plastanium. Oh! Okay. What the hell? Oh, bro. the wall. Bruh. Magnetic boots? Magnetic tracks? What? It's still a rock. Large. Oh. I was saying, it's like, if you woke up just to watch me, you need to go back to sleep, dude. Like, care for your own safety. I know where you're at in the world. Spice residue. Yep. That's gonna be the last duraluminum in there. 257 plastanium ingots. That is nuts. All right, let's expand water storage first. Or actually, let's take a look at infrastructure. What are we looking at? So we have 957 spare energy. It's going to take 357 or 350 of that for the spice generator. So I think my best bet is to go ahead and finish expanding my water production. Water storage first. All right. So ideally, I will have about 8 passive. I meant yesterday, sir, not today. It's fine, man. My argument stands. Okay, clearly I did not make nearly enough aluminum or duraluminum, so... Luckily for me, we still have 100,000 water. But, unlucky for me, we need that. Lucky for me, I need water filters for this, but I need to go back to Haga Basin and retrieve more of my spice residue. Massively reduce that shit. Which is a perfect excuse, because I need more water pumps anyways. Alright, I'm up to 25 points right now for that. I just don't see a reason really to do the system. Like, the specializations, I don't believe it should take a month of grinding to reach even just a portion of recognizable progress within the endgame. It's not acceptable. And actually, I was sitting there at work thinking, like, well, I can make an entire video on this, discussing what it is, what it does, why it's flawed, and ways that I would correct it. Or ways that I think it can be made better. Especially for a newer player jumping into the game for the first time, you're going to be leagues behind everybody who's probably maxed out their specializations by this point. And especially with probably the first expansions coming after September, so probably early to mid next year if I had to wager, if I had to put money on it. Stuff's here. Behold! More stuff! Year and a half later. This is my primary contention with the specialization system and tying it to Landsrad is probably 300 to 500 plus loading screens. What I would call additional unnecessary gateways. That way I can stop yelling. I turn my mic monitoring on so that way I can hear myself. Pack up the spice residue first, and then we'll go and get a few more industrial pumps. All right. I also have overtime tomorrow, so I will not be on until past 1:30 my time. Well, definitely well past that, because I gotta run an errand after I get off work. No, not yet. Nothing really of interest. Nothing comical, nothing lightning, nothing that's shorts material for sure. Spice residue. Got a shit ton of it. There it is. Go. More? Alright, let's get out of here. First stop. Industrial pumps. It's Godzilla! Well, his base is breaking down, so that's abandoned. Looks that was an easy way to cross that ravine. Also buy a handful. Probably not at this vendor, but definitely Turvox at this vendor, which I also am going to need an ample supply. But he's probably going to blast me in the comment section and say, hey, that's a waste of money. I'm like, well, then don't provide me the option. Probably cheaper than the player market, that's for sure.
Still alive, are you?
I know another one, and I think Eric Keane also has a vendor who sells a few of those. So I can kind of double up on what I get. Kind of, sort of. Really haven't been watching any creators on the game, especially recently. Like, a lot of videos for this game are from last year when it initially came out. Like, some are recent, but a lot of them pertain to information that I'm not particularly either ready for or interested in.
Get over here!
This area always lags my game.
Shields up! Eyes on enemies!
I don't know what it is with this area.
Reveal yourself. I've got you. Coming.
Ooh, that's two heavy fuckers. Yep, 9 pumps there.
Repel them!
Well, I'm more of a constructive criticism, like what works in the game, what doesn't work, and how it can be improved, right?
Who goes there?
What the hell was that targeting? I didn't get flamberged. 16. Wow. Okay, talk about getting just short shafted. Like, and I don't think I found any other places outside of crashed ships to get those pumps. And even crashed ships is not a guarantee.
I see someone. We've got intel. Woo.
Stop by my base here in Haga to kill my leader. Before I head back. He certainly made better use of this spot than I did on the other server.
Welcome back. What?
All right, back to base and then off to Arakeen. And then dealing with their vendor to get some more pumps. I think it takes 13 per large cistern in the deep desert, so that'll make me 2 at least. put up a second ore refinery to find multiple things at a time in the deep desert. Another medium ore refinery for now, so that way the plastanium is going to be a really slow process right now. I'm going to have to do that because I need to get more duraluminum. Just eat. Jalapeno beef stick. Okay. Vehicle vendor.
Welcome back.
Or not.
Oh, hey there,
Computer. Does their inventory shuffle? This one?
Welcome back.
Guess their inventory shuffle. Okay. Okay. Shit, that's not easy. Try to check this. How much I'm gonna get gypped on the frickin' player market for it. No. Not worth that. All right.
How's it? You're back from...
Got some stuff. Oh. The vendors. Well, I can't use these guys right now until... Well, hold up. Maybe I can? Mark. Question mark right now.
Sorry, but I may...
Never mind. Oh, okay. Use them right now. All right. Well, let's get back to the deep desert. 6 ingots so far. Prioritize the water tank's interior. Know that I have enough for aluminum. I need it. Second. We're gonna be making 2 types of ingots. We're definitely all right. Let's take the buggy for a little aluminum. Shit. It up. What? Worth the expenditure. Good afternoon, Fortis. How you doing today, bud? I see you again. Here's up. All the aluminum. There's some. ED today? Yep. I'm trying to spend as much time in the deep desert as I possibly can right now. I gotta really ramp up plastinium, stanium production. And it's just cheaper to do that in the deep desert. I think an up-to-date guide for stanium production would probably go a long way nowadays too. Including something I didn't realize, which was my Focus Buddy Buggy's Focus Cutter Ray couldn't cut the titanium or Stravidium deposit, which I was caught by surprise because the Mark V Pearl Cutter Ray, basically, or Mark V Cutter Ray handheld could cut through it, but not the Buggy's Mark V Cutter Ray. As well as just a general what you should probably have for your base for your first time in the deep desert. So I am learning a lot. And low fuel. Okay. Still parked there. All right. Oh. Alt F4 for reset. Bruh. Yes. Pardon? Sure, I park container out to the desert, but I should probably refine there too. Yes, it is significantly cheaper to do things out in the deep desert. Until, of course, you get your base properly established back in Haga Basin. Like even my base back in Haga Basin, I was having issues with water production. Out here, I'm not having any water production issues because I can build cheaper out here. Hell, I mean, if I could get a whole bunch of the top-tier leader johns, I could literally use this place as a water production plant and transport that shit back to base. I'm sure somebody will look at that like an exploit. But if it's in the game's design and it's working as intended, it's not an exploit, is it? Nice. It's a D's. Oh no! Oh, you walked right into it! Sorry. Yes. There's some things that just don't die. Okay. Lucky. Let's get some more aluminum for dosing. I'm not having any water production issues here. Doing here. Big thing for me right now is getting a carrier and a cargo container at least built, so that way next time I try to set up base it's going to be significantly easier than multiple trips in the assault ornithopter. But here's the current end goals. That, and that. Those two upstairs before that. Filters. It is a bit of a grind, sure. I've seen, especially because you need spice melange for all the components. I'm like, yeah. Get the freaking medium spice refinery up. I do not want to be wasteful with my spice sand right now, and I've got a shit ton of spice sand that I can't even do anything with right now because I don't have a refinery here. Make the filters. The filters. And now I need more flower sand, don't I? Oh. Alright. Here. So for the large spice refinery, at least out here, you need 475 plastinium ingots, 175 complex machinery, 28 advanced machinery, 540 silicon blocks, 500 spice melange, and 555 cobalt paste. That is going to be a massive investment, even here in the deep desert. But that's basically half the cost it would be back in Haga Basin. And then similarly here, everything you see, multiply that by 2, that's what it's going to cost you in Haga. In terms of cobalt paste, though, I think I'm fresh out, so I'm probably going to have to run back to Haga anyway to mine up some Aerithite, bring it back here. And all of this is working, so I might as well find something to do, right? Damn door. Let's see. Something so I can see where the testing stations are at. My bad. Offline. I can't wait until I'm at that point too myself. Yes, we're 8. Let's load up the assault ornithopter and get going. Not where I meant. Probably a really stupid idea, but I've had worse, I'm sure. Kilometers. Shit. I'd like to get some tier 6 blueprints while we wait. Yeah, there was a that was what I saw in the loot tape was compact compactor Mark 6. I'm like, ooh. Only a 9% chance, but still. Better than nothing. Perhaps, Matthew, perhaps. Located in 2 caves. 2 of the caves. Really, 2 of the caves. Hardware ID. Ow. Well, this water. Yeah. much. Sting K6 Peter Johns for 150. Wow. Okay. Considering, you know, once you get to the point of making those yourself, you really don't need to pay someone else for it, unless they've got max level crafting. That's my opinion. Don't burn me at the stake. Honestly, I think that was the biggest mistake, was giving players full control over the economy rather than setting specific restrictions as to how much an item could be listed for. But again, that's me. Really, I'm just boycotting doing my specializations right now, aren't I? Oop. Enough. Don't have any space. Not have any space. I-7 just exploded. Okay. Build the steady booster for this thing. Am I wearing my off-step boots? I am. Looking for a cave. Almost a deep name. And before anyone asks, no, I didn't bring any friggin' survey probes. I'm already feeling like an idiot for leaving survey probes at home. Weird. Sure it'll turn on my... Yes. Well, this would probably make a lot more sense for the cave to probably be here. Oh, yep, there we are. Well, it can help to quickly open up the map so you can identify where you need to go. So that way you don't have to constantly do some guesswork. Really? Okay. Holy shit, okay.
Kill them. Weapon empty.
Oh, I need a better sword. Oh shit. Wow. Okay, this probably was a really bad idea. Ooh, God. There it is. Damn it! All right. Knight Rider Mark 6. There were 2 blueprints in there? I didn't think I was gonna find 2 blueprints in there. All right. Modification allows it fitted into sandbikes, giving free speed at the cost of heat. Shit. No, thank you. Knight Riders actually. Actually, I think these two complement each other. No, because this would have reduced heat buildup during the night. Master and sword damage. Maybe same for you. Yeah, I haven't really done the quest lines all the way to completion. So, got 4 points. Blade, long blade damage, long blade damage. What I focus on. I really gotta do those quest lines bad. All right, take it easy, Matthew. All right. Know where this cave's at. That's all the way in G3. Right about there. Okay. Okay. Definitely need to crack down on it myself at some point this weekend for those quests. I can park that thing. Okay. Strange doubt that that didn't activate. As long as I see any kind of sandstorm way before it hits, I should be fine. Damn! medium spice blow, maybe? Next to the large spice blow? I can't tell. No, it's a small, near a medium. Oh, shit. Wasn't paying attention. Again. Fuck. Yeah. Whoops. I did it again. Yeah, I definitely need to get the steady assault booster. Probably I don't remember if it's the Albatross wings or the Hummingbird wings for the Mark 6. For the Assault. I think it's the Hummingbird, because the Albatross goes for the carrier. I remember seeing that correctly the other day. Don't you need... Oh, I can make it from my inventory. Shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have touchdown here pretty soon. So I'd like to go ahead and repair this as much as possible. I don't know why I thought I needed the damn survival station for that. So I've been caught down out here with my pants down in the middle of a sandstorm before, and it almost did not end well. I ended up crash landing in open sand because the sandstorm took out all 4 of my wings on my Scout and damn near took out the engine and the PSU at the same time. Much. Have to drop my repair tool, right? Had to have dropped it. And for context, if you've been in the sandstorms in Haga Basin, the ones in the deep desert make those look like a freaking party. Alright? Like, they are significantly worse. Is that everything? That was everything. Oh. Luckily, I wasn't eaten by a worm, yeah. Yeah, I got lucky there too. I had just enough repair wire to get my wings fixed, but not much else. So I had to be very careful leaving. What the fuck? DOA. Wow, okay. Because I needed to get off that sand and away from that location. And then I realized I didn't have nearly enough repair wire, and I thought I needed my survival station to craft more. Thank you for reminding me I can craft that stuff from inventory. Oops! I did it again! most difficult part for me with this is trying to find the proper angle for a controlled glide. I am too. I'm still gonna largely play the game online. Well, at least I know where one of the sites is at. That was quick. I'm just hoping that with that update comes a large number of quality of life changes or bug fixes, because like even just playing this, I've run into maybe a handful of bugs. But they were bugs that definitely impaired my ability to play. The big thing for me for a quality of life update is going to be the specialization system. As someone who primarily plays solo, I don't like the idea of having to arbitrarily be forced to join or create a guild, even just for myself. It feels like an unnecessary expenditure, for starts. The second primary issue is all of the additional gateways. So anytime you accept a Landsrad mission, you have to then jump through loading screens to get to those mission sites, complete the missions, accept new missions, continue to do this over and over and over again, and it just, instead of it feeling like progression, it feels like, how many more times am I going to have to look at this loading screen? Son of a fucking bitch. Hold up. Okay, I'm good. Be able to accept Landsrad rewards from the Landsrad menu. It's crazy you can't. Yeah, I think that's also a serious quality of life improvement I definitely think needs to be made as well. Because I don't like having to track down the individual vendors just to get my rewards for what I've done. I feel like you should be able to accept those from that menu. Alright, we're here. Damn, bro. There's like no organization here. That is, however, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Water collection. Ow. Right. Right there. Me and sand more. And with peanut. Yeah, pretty. I don't know why a part of what you said, peanut, made me think, the burnt peanut. I don't know that he's even played this game yet. If he has, I haven't seen it. Yep, there it is. All right. Go. Oh my god. All right. You know what? little bit. What the fuck? Hi. On the silent just to farm the blueprints. Yep. Like that's one of those big things, right? Is like you want to set up out in the deep desert so you can set up efficient farms. Way out there too. All right. Ever getting fixed stream on fun part and only took profit. I don't. He's out of line, but he's right. Okay, what did I miss here? It's not the right cave. Huh? Oh. Oh. Oh, claw gloves. Right, well, I don't know what the refresh time on that is. It's reset every 45 minutes, so that's a lot of blueprints. Yikes. 45 minutes. It's probably a 3-minute fly back. Cluster. Realize there are clusters out here, right? Really only 2 big caves out here and everything. Probably something I can't handle. That's great. Great. Let's head back. Got 3 blueprints. I think that's cool. For around 10 mil on my server. It's this. I think I've seen it as high as 150 mil, which to me doesn't make sense, especially if you can get it from the Landsrad, because you can totally get it from Landsrad each week if you're getting lucky on what the representatives are going to have. And again, this comes back to a point of like saying, I really don't like the player controlled market. Like, those prices are outrageous. Maybe that's just because I've only been playing the game for 2 weeks and don't have a whole lot of money. I think the most I've sold an item for, and I really undercut the market, was the Tarl Cutter Ray, and I sold it for, I think, a little over $1 million. Playing for longer. Let's see, I didn't start last weekend, but the weekend before. So yeah, about 2 weeks. I've got about 100 hours in the game right now. heard it was inflated from duping issues and haven't really recovered. That's highly probable. Players are still using bots to inflate prices. Yeah. I'm not even sure how that works, and I definitely don't want to get it. Right now, yeah, I'm still using the Jolt sword, and it's definitely weaker than... It's a duraluminum tier weapon, so I definitely need to get an upgrade there, for sure. And I think I have a blueprint for an ungraded replica pulse sword. Prices only stay high if people are still buying them at those prices. This is usually true. But the problem with a player-controlled market is that the players who want that kind of money are not likely to decrease their requesting price, right? It's kind of the same way with, like, the auction hall in, just for an example, World of Warcraft. Far be it from me to point to that game, but it's got a similar issue, you know? Highly coveted items that are probably reasonable in effort to acquire will still sell for a high amount because there's a high demand. So it's that demand and a supply and demand issue, right? They also don't make money if no one is buying. This is also true. They're actually wasting money if no one buys it because there is a listing fee. Only the whale players will buy at higher inflated prices. They use bots to buy and sell items. Yeah. Clearly an issue here. I'm surprised nothing's been done about that. Ah. I usually undercut everyone. Yeah, I agree with that statement. If I get something and I know for a fact I don't need it, I will sell it way lower than the market because it's guaranteed to sell at that point. Undercutting is competitive, so I think that's fair. Yeah. It's the only way to guarantee you're going to sell to the market, at least. Yeah. If you offer a better price than any of your competitors, people are more likely to buy from you. It's kind of like that. My big thing is Walmart versus Publix. Walmart offers a reasonable selection for a good price, whereas Publix, you know, it has basically everything, but there's a slight markup. At least that's what I've observed whenever I go shopping for my groceries. And it was fixed? I mean, you can say something and it still not be true. So, I think one of the biggest things for quality of life that I'm hoping for in September is for the specialization system. So here's my thought. I had 3 plans on how to effectively correct it. The first is a streak multiplier. So the more Landsrad missions you do, you'll start to incur like a 0.1 addition streak. So this will affect your I'll get back to chat here in a second. And after I park, we'll start this whole little segment over. Give me a second. Fart, too far. Know that any of these are worth it, so I'll just go ahead. So, how I would correct the system, right? Or adjust it for quality of life. So each time you do one of these missions, you start to build up a positive multiplier. And so you'll get like, my thing was like 0.1 times the multiplier. So you go from 1 to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and it continues to stack. I think the upper limit that I would stop at is 2.5 or 3 times multiplier to your specialization EXP. And then it has a 48-hour hangover time. So, or said that word. So, well, there's really not another word to use there. So you would hold on to that multiplier, and as long as you continue to do your missions each day, you're going to keep that multiplier. And this would make the specialization grind a little bit easier. The second thing I would probably do is a more passive-oriented system, because everything that exists for the specializations already exists within the game. So a good example for this, and sorry that we're bogging this down with a little segment here. So we already do crafting in mass, we already do gathering in mass. In terms of sabotage, because it benefits headshot damage or, bribing the envoys, you could use that to get additional XP, or even sabotaging the alarms in different locations. 1,000 missions just seems highly repetitive, and at that point you're staring at loading screens more times than you're thinking you're making progress. Combat's already largely done. The biggest thing for me would be exploration, because I think the only way I can think to do this, right, is to just fatten your inventory up as heavy as it'll go and just start running laps. That's the only thing I could think of for that. The third thing is to inflate the amount of spice melange, because you're getting to the point where, as you're making progress, you've got more spice melange than you know what to do with. So instead of needing EXP, just tear out EXP out of the equation, and you have two different things here. You have spice, and then you have, I'm not sure what I would call the points here. You would convert your spice into points, and then you'd pump those points into this, and each tier, each level up requires more than the last. Missions, not motions, all. Just focus on the specific missions for the specialization. Like, in the last few days, I've just flat out refused to do any of the missions. I can't be bothered with the amount of times I'm staring at a loading screen. Because at that point, all these unnecessary gateways become discouraging. It's time I'm wasting versus time I feel like I'm actually making progress. And that's the one thing with these kinds of systems you want to avoid doing as a game developer. You want the player to feel like they're making progress, not feel like they're spending more time doing one thing than actually making progress. And so these are just a few suggestions that I think would help to benefit this system. Because the amount of times you're staring at a loading screen, that's another gateway. And every time you have to accept a mission, and you're only allowed so many missions per day. So as a result, the player starts to feel like, especially because the amount of EXP, so at the first level you require 100 EXP, right? At this level, I now require 229. That's 2 missions worth of EXP in order to make the next level. Fake time played. What? What do you mean, David? Yeah, so because the EXP curve, there's another issue, and that's why I think the easiest one to do, I think, would be the multiplier, the streak multiplier for Landsrat missions. It would highly encourage people to keep doing their Landsrat missions each day rather than feeling they're always getting that flat 125, because that's it. That's 125. That's it. That's all you get. It never goes up. I have never observed it going any higher than 125 XP for any of these stats. Never. Yeah, see, like, even this one. Because this one takes place inside of Old Quarry, which is one of the dungeons. It's still 125 EXP, even though it's a higher difficulty type mission because it's a dungeon. I just got a new PC built, have been working on finishing up old DLC quests, did all missions for Haga this morning, but they were various specializations. Wasn't sure if I should just focus on the specific missions for a specialization or for house or for a location. Honestly, I'm never going to tell someone what they should focus on first and foremost. It all comes down to player preference and playstyle, right? Every person's going to have a different playstyle. But like I said, even for this mission, because you can tell what this is just by this and the name here, which is the Old Quarry, which is one of the dungeons. And we're still just getting 125 EXP. Like, even for a higher multiplier or a higher threat mission, you're still getting the same EXP as you would get from else. I assume is for the house rewards. Yeah, house rewards more than likely. Double check what you meant. Yeah, house script. Or you talking about? Precisely boost the player. I imagine that should be the main focus. It should be the main focus, but the primary problem is this and how much the player is getting. Especially when you look at, sorry that we're still on this little tangent. I do 100% apologize. Like at level 1, 100 EXP. I can't really show you each tier up, but if I went to a stat that I have points invested in, level 18 to get to level 19, 229. There's a ramp up there, but there's no increase the amount or ways to increase the EXP you're getting each day. You're still going to get that 725 EXP per day if you're using all of your Landsrad missions each day. So as a result, this is only going to get worse for the player as they go down the line, because from my understanding, it can take upwards of a couple of months just to get one stat to 100. And when we get to that first expansion, I can only imagine how important having these specializations maxed out is going to be, because you want all these additional skill points, the HP, the stamina, the damage modifier, all of this. You're going to want all this once we get to that first major expansion. There one that gives you an increased EXP gains in one of the other specializations. Players need to understand this part. Which part? The September update, is there a particular specialization tree we should be focusing on? So the September update is not a expansion. It is primarily regarded around getting the chapter, as far as I know, the chapter 4 update is going to finish out the story for the first book. Just from what I understood from the VOD they put out. It's going to finish up the first book, and then the next major expansion, which hopefully will be sometime next year, it could be the year after that, is going to take us to the polar ice cap. So I don't know for sure. If I had to put my money on what I'd specialize in, it would likely be combat or sabotage, but I don't really know. Take 6 months to max out if you're willing to put in the grind. Max out just one tree or max out every tree. But 6 months is still a deterrent, or still highly discouraging. Maybe to give us a boost there. I don't really know what to expect. We're still going to basically be in Haga Basin, as far as I'm aware. Combat is probably the most effective since it boosts your stats, helps you do the dungeons better. Yeah, like I said. And the dungeons is where you're going to get your end game gear, or at least the blueprints for your end game gear, right? Every tree. Yeah, I mean, I would love to focus every tree, but the system in its current state is something that definitely makes that more difficult. Yeah, I don't see any particular thing in here that increases the EXP. You can increase your contribution toward the puller caps, from what I understand, is going to be November, December. Really? That soon? Right after the console launch? It's crazy. That's really close. Like, this one is also really good to have early on. So getting level 10 exploration to, especially if you're out in the deep desert, to get more loot from the crash ships. And then I believe there's another one down here that... Hidden caches is also a good one. Cap is only cosmetic. I don't know. The world map, or the overland map, would have a lot to say to you on that one. I think if I had to be a bet man, exploration is going to be the one that a lot of people want to focus on, because a lot of the benefits go towards your vehicle and also decrease your worm threat when moving across the sand. This can be a big game changer when you're trying to mine up those large spice deposits, because it decreases the overall worm aggro that you're building up over time. Like, if I had to really suck up the Landsrat system, and realistically I'm just boycotting it at this point, I just do not enjoy the overall format, I would definitely just hard up, go all the way down, get level 100 exploration first, and then I would probably work on this up until I got this second efficient machinery. They were talking about new resources and stuff to explore, new ways to play with the polar cap. I imagine it'll be like Haga Basin. They said the map will be as big as Haga Basin on the VOD they put out. And they even showed a few sneak peek glimpses at that map, but they can't discuss anything more than that at this point. So, with the September update, it's primarily fleshing out the remaining for Chapter 4, getting the console launch out. Then they're going to go directly into prepping for the first major expansion, which is going to start the next book, as they put it. All right. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and put this fucker up. Yeah, I would love QOL, that is, especially heavily toward, yes. We're gonna have to empty the garage real quick, the hangar real quick. Give me a second. All right, let's get this fucking spice refinery up. We need that melange. Hallelujah. We got the medium spice refinery. All right. Oh, there it is. Oh, it preps it in batches of 10. Oh, that's neat. That's 70 melange right there with what water I had. That sucks. Look at the update for Polar Ice Cap DLC. They put out another VOD recently? Like, I saw the recap for the last year of the game, but that was realistically it. Feels like it's gonna take a minute. I need to probably go grab some bodies. My death still. Alright. Let's go get some Go drop some bodies real quick and bring them back. Honestly, I should have done that while I was in the caves. Didn't think about that. The only thing I know, that VOD literally showed and talked about what to expect for the polar ice cap. But yeah, if I had to be a betting man, I would focus on exploration first. I really don't want to do it in its current format. It was a slog just to get to 18 already. And that slog's only going to get worse as I get deeper and deeper. Okay, he didn't get a chance to dodge. This guy up. Oh, what? Oh.
They're coming!
Format isn't meant to be done in a week. It's supposed to be something you work as you play. I imagine their polar cap will also introduce Mark 7 craftables. That's what I'd put my bet on too. But as time goes on, like I said, the more players that join in, the more they're gonna realize how far behind they've fallen. I'm not expecting the system to take weeks, son of a bitch. Thanks for the subscription there, Fortis. I don't know why it played twice. I have to double check my life that or was sub before. Oh god. It happens, man. Alright, let's go grab these carcasses. I can't speak. Water. I'm honestly surprised that I've only gotten level 2 crafting and level 1, I think, in exploration. I barely touched specializations, but new PC, I can enjoy the game better to work on it. Yeah. That's one of my goals this upcoming year is to get all the components together to build my first custom built PC, because I'm still playing on a store-bought. You know, I bought this PC 2-3 years ago, and it's starting to really show its age. Yeah. We're finishing up all the quests. First, wanted to unlock some of the stuff that came with that before I did anything else. I hear you, man. Really? Okay. Okay. Park this wreck and everything it stands for. We just realize my camera has back. My bad. 3070 RTX 3070. I'm operating a 3060 Ti, and it's at its moments. Not make fun for a fun experience playing on your old PC. I can see how that would be an issue. I think the biggest issue I have is when I'm trying to go collect industrial pumps from that Sentinel place in the northern part of Haga Basin. For whatever reason, just stepping foot in there causes my game to start really slugging it out. No NPCs. Someone has just been here. No, I literally... Wait, are there any on the back? I literally just killed everybody in there. In fact, I've got the bodies to prove it. NEC runs like a dream. Yeah. I think that's going to be the big thing for me, is I'm going to be switching over from NVIDIA to AMD. It's just like, NVIDIA has not been worth the money that could be put into it. And that's just my personal experience. Everybody's experience is different, but from my personal experience, I was expecting this graphics card or this PC to last a lot longer. But every day it feels like every game is testing the limits of what my PC can do. Which isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, it's not good. Please give us the ability to put the bodies in there from container. For fuck's sake. Here we go. Oh my god. Got those going. Years now. You'd be surprised. What water I've got right now, which certainly isn't a lot, thanks to me crafting 70 spice melange. That's great. For now, wait. Oh, right. That's right. I have to put in the new filters. Go stuff these filters. Any one of my damn things is gonna run up now. Right, you're good for another day. You're good for like 3 hours. So with 6 of these, or five, why is it 6? 150,000 per 24-hour cycle. about 75,000 water per day. I've run into is the occasional connection, but I've seen, everyone gets those occasionally. They are pricing little players out even on next-gen consoles. Really? How's that possible? Oh, never mind. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, next-gen consoles, I think, is going to be the point that a lot of people realize it's probably better to just go ahead and start building a gaming PC, because the console wars has effectively ended in a, what I would argue would be a double KO, because they've shown time again that the consoles are just becoming less and less worth the expense price that they put into it. Oh, I mean, I can't really do much of anything without water in it. Oh, I just have to wait. That said, we are very, very closely getting to our 2-hour mark, but, so, just to recap for what we discussed, right? So, right now, in the current format of specializations, especially with newer players going to be joining us here pretty soon with the Chapter 4 update. Console players, there's no crossplay, so that's not going to be any kind of thing we have to worry about. But with new players hopefully having reinvigorated interest in the game, I think there's going to be a lot of catching up for a lot of players. I don't think that multiple months worth of investment is adequate for even just one specialization, right? I think that some of the suggestions I made, such as a Landsrad mission streak bonus, or, you know, a passive system that is just a little bit slower, but still is giving you progress towards that outside of your mimetic memories, because you're already going all over the place doing shit. You might as well be benefiting from it, especially with how it's worded. I believe it says something along the lines of helping your body and mind remember what it used to know. So I think giving us a passive system is going to be more difficult, but I think it would make more sense with how the implant is worded. Limited crossplay, Xbox and Windows Store purchase on PC. Just no crossplay with Steam, current state of the game. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Because Xbox will be the only place where really crossplay happens because of Xbox Play on PC. The other system, which I know a lot of people probably wouldn't be a fan for, but it would add more use to the Spice Melange, would be to just take out the EXP altogether and just have people farming up Spice Melange and just converting it into points for here and then putting it in through here. Like, you're already having to do it here, but why not just double down on that, right? That's my opinion. That's one solution. The other solution, like I said, is the streak bonus for doing your Landsrad missions each day. And, you know, that bonus caps out at like 2.5 or 3 times for your EXP. And this can help players who are starting up or have fallen significantly behind catch up. Because, like I said, once we get to the first major expansion, I think that's going to come really into play with new resources and new things to worry about. I think I will try to convert this part into a short, right? I don't mind the current state of specializing, it just means that there's always something you can do to progress. Well, here's my counter to that. What if they add more to it? Because if they add more, the people who are falling behind are going to fall way further behind. And the grind is only going to get worse. Like, I don't think that this is the end result of the specialization system. I think it's going to go even further as they add expansions, because there's going to be reasons to. I get bored if I run out of things to work towards. Yeah, I mean, I'm still working. I 100% understand you on that one. Add more loading screens also. We already told you, those gateways feel highly repetitive and unnecessary. I think if all the missions were doable inside of Haga Basin, right? Or just the dungeons, not all these extra maps like Blushing Caverns and I forget most of the other ones, I think it would be fine. But my other point on that, right, is that even for the missions that you can do that take place inside of dungeons, there's no additional incentive there. You're better off doing the ones that don't take place in dungeons, because they still offer the same amount of PvP. After seeing the same loading screen, for the 10th time in a day, it just gets highly discouraging. But with I think they do that so they are instanced for the player doing them. Well, yeah, I understand that. It always has that preparation phase before you load into the map, where it's preparing your instance so that way you're separated from everything else. But at the same time, and team up with no more than 4 players. Well, yeah, but as a solo player, I think that would be another interesting thing if you could increase the difficulty of the map to increase the rewards that you would get from your Landsrad mission, right? So you could add additional modifiers to bolster it up further. It adds a more challenging component to it, and only the people who feel like they're properly geared up for it can do it. Has it been 45 minutes yet since I checked those caves? Aren't the dungeons doing that already? The dungeons do that, but your Landsrad missions don't benefit from that. That's what I'm saying, is add additional modifiers that you can tack on to your Landsrad missions to boost up your mimetic memory bonuses. So for instance, let's say I wanted to take Watching the Run, but I wanted to add more modifiers to it to increase this, your recollection, mimetic recollection. I don't know why. Memory, recollection reward. You could add additional modifiers to this mission to effectively increase its difficulty and increase the rewards you gain from this. That's what I'm saying. Not just increasing the difficulty of the dungeon, increasing the difficulty of the mission itself to increase its overall rewards. And the more modifiers and stuff you tack onto it, the more you get from it. So it would be similar to how the dungeons ramp up in difficulty to get you higher graded equipment or better loot in general. But it would be specifically for the Randstad mission, or Landsrad mission. Don't know why that word escaped my mouth. No, because you're reducing time played. Not particularly. I don't feel like that. There's always going to be something you're chasing. Whether you're a base builder or a specific resource gathering, you're always going to have something you're building towards. And by increasing the difficulty, you're also increasing the amount of time that you really have to spend in that mission in general. Because with additional modifiers and difficulty tweaks in play, you're actually going to have to pace yourself better. So it's a trade-off. You're spending more time on the mission, but you're also reducing the amount of missions you have to take in order to get up to that point. Like, it could be something as mundane as, you know, enemies can one-shot you, right? One-shot down. And one-shot kill, you know? Or it could be, you know, enemies are 3 times as tanky. So if it's a mission that highly emphasizes on having to engage in combat, you're going to spend a whole lot more time in that combat if you don't have a good build. And then, of course, like I said, with the specialization system, I don't 100% believe that level 100 is going to be the end, or this is the only 5 trees we're going to get. I think it's not in the dream of Funcom. No, I don't think that's in the dream of Tencent. That's my opinion. I don't know if Tencent's name is still attached to the project for sure, but if I was a betting man, I'd say it's still 100% attached to Tencent. But for Funcom's sake, if they wanted player retention, they would look at this and try to see how to make it better or how to expand upon it. Like, what other specialization trees can we shove in the game, and what benefits can those specializations add, especially once we start looking at expansions, right? Because, like I said, I don't think this is its final form. I think this is just scratching the surface of what specializations are really going to do down the line. But we've sat on this hill long enough. Let's go run those 2 caves one last time and see if we get lucky. Look, how much fuel do I have on me? Alright. Vincent is still leech on the game. I mean, that's the way most publishers are these days, right? Is they don't really contribute anything to the game other than the funding. But then they also reap the benefits of what that game effectively gains, right? It's the same way with the Subnautica 2 situation, right? Is that their publisher, I don't remember, I think it was, fuck, I can't remember. They basically made them a deal, and then the closer they got to release, that deal was going to have to be kept. And because of that, they tried to find ways to weasel out of it, because that would have been a significant loss in their money. Like, a third of their earnings. And they're like, we can't have that. We got to find some way to get out of this immediately. It's like, that's the way a lot of publishers are these days. They do not contribute. Publishers know one thing in the game development space: how to make money. They do not know how to make a game. They do not know how to make a game fun, how to make a game enjoyable, how to make a game that players actually want to play. Something one of my college professors once told me, because I went to college for game development, was developers don't make games to make money. They make games they want to play. The fact that other people want to play or purchase those games is a side effect of making those games, right? So when they show off the things that they're making, this is something that they personally want to play. The fact that when they show it off that there's interest in the game and people want to play that game, that's just a byproduct of the creative process. If you make a good product, expect it to sell. If you don't make a good product, which is what a lot of these publishers tend to force these developers to do, expect that it's not going to sell. And you're going to be closing down a studio. It's a long ass fly. Yeah, I definitely need. If I was really gonna do these specializations right now, I'm definitely gonna have to go into exploration so I can go much faster than this. Yes. Sorry, someone alerted me dinner was ready. For half the company in Vumconk's case. Fair point. Alright, assuming I can safely glide at this altitude, I'm gonna go make my dinner real quick. It's just a burger. Never walk away on the deep desert. I'm sorry. Camping duck, I'm sorry. It's just like, I needed to get my dinner. I felt that was a decently controlled altitude, so I could go into a controlled glide. Hopefully it's been 45 minutes. I'm almost certain it has. This was the last cave I looted, so... And this is not the cave. It's just an ornithopter. An assault ornithopter, yeah. Just at the duraluminum tier. It's not like it would have been too difficult to replace, hopefully. I got it. Alright. I am gonna do something really stupid. Rush past these assholes. Zero patience, folks. That's probably not respawn. Nope, definitely not respawn. Shit. Definitely too early. Yeah, well, the time it should take to glide to the other one should hopefully be. it's not like I have any unique parts on my Assault Ornithopter. It's not like it would have been too much of a big loss to replace. Well, considering this was the second one I hit, I think... really wish I'd kept track of how much time passed since then, so I guess I'll hold position here for now. Slap down a couple of bandages, a couple of swigs of water. And nerf the time, it's now random. Well, that would really suck. Oh. Hit one. This is to stop players farming them. Really? Oh, okay. I might have been safe. Hold up. Loot tape, or the loot refresh time. Might have panicked there. All the sandstorm on my radar, I'm like, oh shit. Seems honestly highly aggravating to do that. Get random. Random could literally mean the entire week it's not going to respawn for the player. I think this is also one of the things I really love about the Deep Desert is actually seeing other players. It felt like in Hackett Basin, I never really saw anybody. Very rarely saw them. Or a maybe respawn? Absolutely not. Fuck that noise. With a 10-foot cattle prod. Yeah, I definitely need the points into exploration. Because exploration you would actually get more movement speed, right? Now, I'm not sure if that would affect glide, but it certainly affects the boost. But that could be land-based vehicles. It says all vehicles, didn't it? And piloting vehicles. It doesn't specifically say which ones. Right. Should be looking around for crash sites now, shouldn't I? Does the crash sites have a chance to have blueprints too, do they not? Or not this close to the player shelf? I think. Best are the falling crash ship. Find them. Yeah. Got lucky yesterday and found one. Or I was right there while it was crashing. Desert garb, really. So that one respawned. The still suit. It is not a still suit. It's fine. Oh, probably an upgrade from what I'm wearing. Fine, very good schematics in some, yeah. Spice blow, dead ahead. Where's the boom? We're supposed to be in Earth battery. Kaboom! I just saw the worm. Worm is hunting you. Bitch can fly. Like hardly effective for all that air infrastructure to be inside, but okay. Biggest problem right now. Any crash sites right now? But I don't exactly have the world's greatest vision, that's for sure. carrier? It is. Carrying cargo. Where does my say? Obdurious! Out. I certainly would have liked a break from the monotony of this travel. I guess none of us are getting what they want. Alright, let's try this again. Rush it. Oh, fuck you, game. How is that not respawned? The other one respawned. Wonder if it's because I set a foot inside that cave and it reset the timer. Let that be how that works. It's too smart. Okay. Well, I got nothing else planned, so we'll head back to base to see where we're at. Oh, I wish I could tone down the volumetric fog. People rushed in Spain like World War Z times. Oh, and take even a looted space crash at this point. Nope. I've got other shit to do today. Preferably before I have to get off at night, because I have to get up. My ass has to be up at 4:10 in the morning. young and don't need sleep. 32, thank you very much. Not that young. Here you are. Right. Thank God for these soft step boots. Particularly game breaking in there though. Useless. Also useless. 100% useless. That sandworm threat is getting real high, real fast. Must be a sandworm. Oh shit, he's right there. Was a close one. Well, probably not, but still. Hopefully most of our crafting is done. Or refining, I should say. Spice generator is definitely done. Alright, let's see. Loot. Wait, it doesn't go in there. Honey. Oh. Okay. Boots. illegal. All yours in escalation. Right. Something. Oh yeah. I've got this back at my main base. Sure. Have any? There it is. Okay. Those are empty. Come here. Get that duraluminum smithing up. Done. Okay, fine. A little bit of water left out of that. See? See? That's the. Alright, good. Alright, first thing I definitely want to do once this all gets done is get more water storage up, because right now, with about 5 of these going, not the night, that's going to be 750,000 water in a 24-hour cycle. And I need to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 more. Probably put 2 more down at some point. But I gotta remember, the more I put up, the more I'm gonna have to break down on Monday evening. What is the next building project? Besides the... Okay, so Plastinium, we need another 109 of those. Need more spice for sure. Oh, and I'm gonna have to go get cobalt paste. Great. Cheaper to make it here. That's definitely a tomorrow project as well. I'll have to run an aerothite run, mega base, and fill up the cart as much as possible. Or the ornithopter as much as possible, because I'm not doing this in the buggy back there. I don't have a second buggy. And I don't have a carrier to make that much easier. This I'm going to push down on this switch. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please be sure to give me a like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and I'll see you on the sand.